You know, at the end of the day, you know, we are human beings. So a business relationship is about, you know, dealing with others. And, you know, for me, it's very important to understand each other. So it's the part of the expectation management in the forming, but also in the managing of the business relationship. I think sometimes we spend too much time in too much time in the forming of the relationship, which is a very transactional-based activity. You know, you understand each other, you write it down, you negotiate, you end up with a piece of paper that people signed, and that's it. But the most important is also the managing of the relationship through the life cycle of that contract or that relation. That could be 6 months, 2 years, 10 years, 20 years, whatever. So what is very important is to balance both, you know, the time you spend in the forming, but also the time and the appropriate skills you need to put in the management and the managing of the relationship.
We at IACCM see that there's quite an overlap between them, and in fact we encourage our contract management professionals to learn more about relationship management. We've offered a supplier relationship management program which incorporates many of the concepts from contract management but extends those, because really at the end of the day it's the relationship that matters. It's not the contract, it's not the legal terms, it's the relationship between the parties and the understanding that they have of each other's needs and requirements.
We rely an awful lot on our suppliers. I have a rule that I've been using with many people. I call them the 70-80-90 rule, and that is 70% of the people that makes the wheel go round for us as a company are not our own employees. They are suppliers, contractors that come to us in many different forms, either as contingent labor or mostly as a service we buy. 80% of what we spend money on when we operate are actually things we buy, most of which are complex services. And safety is an important feature in our industry, and 90% of the incidents we have, they happen to those 70% of the people that do work for us. So that is why managing our suppliers is very high on our agenda.
So yeah, there is to some extent a difference between the contract and the relationship. Obviously, you know, contracts have, you know, somewhat of a tangible, four corners of a document type of, you know, element to it. It is a tangible item, and yet the relationship is somewhat intangible. The relationship is obviously going to be fluid. The complexities of a relationship are going to be there. Yes, there may be complexities in a contract, but the complexities within a relationship may be evolving and changing. Individuals within an organization are going to change. They themselves will, you know, somewhat develop a greater maturity, but they may exit or enter into that organization. So there's a continual change of cast. There's somewhat of a churn of the individuals, whereas the document tends to be relatively stable and static. You're going to see, yes, amendments, addenda, etc., change orders that will occur to the document, but the relationship is going to be much more fluid. And it's really within that relationship where we see greater challenges to ensure that, you know, there's consistency and that there is compliance to the overall business purpose, commercial purpose of that commercial relationship.